We continue our National Preparedness Month series talking to emergency management associations from across North Georgia. And joining me today, the director of the Pickens County Emergency Management Association is Robby Westbrook. Thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. We're happy to do it.
And Robby, you are one of the most vocal emergency manager officials in our chat room with the National Weather Service. And I just want to say, we appreciate all the reports that you're always feeding to the National Weather Service, media, other emergency managers located near you. How did you get into Pickens County emergency management? Were you always interested in emergency management, or is that something that you turned to more recently?
Well, actually, I was the emergency management director in Cherokee County. I was with Cherokee County for 32 years, and I was the director there for 22 years. So once I retired from there, I worked for Georgia Emergency Management as an adjunct instructor, traveling the state teaching emergency management. My master's degree and my PhD are both in emergency management and disaster types of public policy. And when I was traveling so much for GEMA, I was away from home a lot, and the job came open here in Pickens County. Wasn't ready to completely retire, so this job came open. It would allow me to be home every night, where I wasn't able to be that way when I was traveling teaching. So that's kind of how I ended up in Pickens County.
So you are a lifelong public servant. What do you appreciate?
42 years, yeah.
That's a very long time. I'm sure there's been a lot of changes in how you disseminate information and respond to disasters. Can you talk to me a little bit more about, in Pickens County specifically, how you all are coordinating with other officials in the county before a weather event, during a weather event, and after a weather event to try to keep all the residents safe and respond if there is damage?
That's right. Well, how we coordinate is in smaller communities like Pickens County, rural communities. We basically, the entire county and city governments are actually a part of emergency management. We have a lot of different folks in different departments who have various roles when a threat is identified or actually occurs, and then that extends through to the recovery period if we are impacted. And so that really allows representatives from all across our county, including private citizens, volunteer organizations, and people from various departments within the local governments to really all be part of that team. Now, we disseminate information in advance of, let's say, severe weather through internal systems. We are very aggressive on our Facebook page, as well as other platforms that we can disseminate information about. You know, we don't want to tell people what to do. We want to give people information on what they can do, so when a threat occurs, they can decide what's the best action for their family. So we try to be really aggressive in training and putting a lot of different bits of information out there so that folks can decide if a warning, if a watch is issued for the various types of weather we have here in North Georgia, then they can make a decision on what's best for their family. When a warning is issued, we have really over the past 9 months deployed a lot of new options here in Pickens County. We have implemented the iPause, which is a way that we can send wireless emergency alerts out to the public. If you're just driving through Pickens County and you go into an area that is under a warning, let's say a tornado warning or flash flood warning particularly, then you're going to get that alert on your cell phone. We also have a rapid notification system that we can use outside of iPause. If the situation does not meet the criteria to use the federal iPause system, then we can use that internal alerting system that we use. We also have outdoor warning sirens, which are exactly what we call them. They're for warning you if you're outdoors. And then we also have a really large email notification system, and our alerts automatically go out onto our Facebook page.
You went into so much detail, and you were talking about that transition in the last 9 months to going to iPods. So those are if you've turned on the wireless emergency alerts on your phone, like if you get Amber Alerts, you'll get those weather notifications. Is that right?
That's right. And a lot of communities have systems that you can sign up for. We have one. We have one called Code Red. You can sign up for Code Red to get alerts for various things that may be occurring. But the only way you're going to get those alerts is if you sign up. iPause allows us to send messages that fit within that strict criteria for iPause. It allows us to send a message, and if your wireless alerts are turned on your phone, you can get that. An example would be last spring, we had a wildfire evacuation in the northeastern part of Pickens County, and we pulled up the map on our Code Red system, drew a circle around the evacuation area, and sent the message to the folks that had signed up for Code Red that were in that area. Now we can send an iPause message to that same area we draw on the map, and everyone that has a cell phone with those alerts turned on are going to get it, whether they've signed up or not.
That is fantastic. So that even if you're not aware that there is a threat coming and you haven't subscribe to it, that you get that info. But of course, I'm sure you still want those residents to sign up for Code Red so that they have more tools in their toolkit, so to speak, to be prepared for severe weather.
That's exactly right.
Let me ask you, Robby, you mentioned you have those outdoor warning sirens. How many do you have in the county, and what's your criteria for sounding the sirens? Because every county, there's no rule across the state or the country of what the criteria is. When do you sound those sirens so people that are outdoors may hear them if there are storms coming in?
Well, ours is pretty narrow definition. First of all, we realize that outdoor warning sirens are not the best tool for getting a tornado warning if you're inside your home or inside a business. So that's why we focus on those being outdoor warning sirens. We have 12 here in our county now, and we only sound those sirens if the National Weather Service issues a tornado warning or a reliable source, law enforcement, fire, reports to our emergency operations center that they have observed a tornado. Then of course we would activate those sirens. But it's a very narrow scope of when those sirens go or don't go. We also have built-in criteria that if a severe thunderstorm warning is issued and winds are in excess of 75 miles an hour, we'll activate the sirens at that time as well. Because really, if the roof blows off your house, you don't really care if it's a tornado or 80-mile-an-hour straight line winds. It still blew the roof off your house, and you needed that warning. So that is our criteria: tornado warning or severe winds in excess of 75 miles an hour.
So those would be those kind of catastrophic severe thunderstorm warning tags on those new versions of warnings that the Weather Service can offer.
Absolutely.
So you've been in emergency management for 40 years. What do you take away? What do you think residents need to be prepared for and remind themselves that these are the tools in my toolkit I need as we go through this National Preparedness Month?
Well, I will give you an example at my house. At my house, I'm the best person to make a plan for my house. It's your house, no matter where it is. You're the best person to make a plan for your house. You know your house, you know your family's needs, and we're want to supply tools to you like you determine that you need to make a plan for your family. Well, we can help you do that. We really stress you need to have a way to get warnings around the clock, 24/7, even when you're asleep. There are tons of apps out there that will do that. I'm still a big fan of the NOAA weather radio. I have them in my house. I have them in my office here. I'm just a huge fan of NOAA weather radio. It works very well. But whatever you decide's best for your family, that's what you need to make a plan around. And getting that warning around the clock is so important. The second thing is folks that have lived in rural areas out in the country, on the mountains, all their lives, they understand that there could be something that would happen where you couldn't leave your house for 3 days. It's hard for a lot of people to imagine that. You might not have power for 5 or 6 days. These linemen just do just tremendous hero work to get that power back on. But if your power line is covered in 3 or 4 or 500 trees, or runs over the top of a mountain where they have to walk in to put the power back, it's going to take a while. So if you're new to that, you have to sit down. If you just moved into a rural or mountainous area, you have to understand or make a list of things that you will need if you can't leave your home for 3 or 4 days, if you don't have power for 2, 3, 6 days. What do I need to have at my house based on my family so that we can survive that period? And when things start to come back to normal, then we can get out and, head into town, do whatever we need to do. But again, we can give you a list of all the things we think you need to have at your house: water, canned food, batteries, flashlights, all kinds of things. But we don't know your family as well as you do. So that's why it's so important for you to take any list we give you and modify that for your family, particularly if you have someone in your family that relies on electricity for a medical appliance, like an oxygen generator or something like that. What is your plan if your power goes off and you're not going to have it back for 3 or 4 days? What is your plan to supplement that locally? And then make yourself aware that a generator can kill you. You have to make sure. Carbon monoxide is just such a terrible thing that occurs every year in some part of the country, where folks are running a generator while it's either inside the house, in the garage, or maybe even outside but near a window, and the carbon monoxide is actually coming into your home. So we know that happens every year. So if a generator is on your list and you get a generator, you know how to safely hook it up and you know how to safely deploy it, where the threat to your family from that generator is minimized.
And I appreciate you talking about those extended power outages, because we saw that in not Pickens County, but other parts of the state with Helene last year. Let me take things back to your county specifically. Are there any areas that you feel are very prone to flooding in the county or wind damage because of the topography there? Are there any areas that are more vulnerable to those types of weather extremes than others?
Well, the entire county is vulnerable to both. However, we know that historically flash flooding, particularly in the northern and eastern parts of Pickens County, have caused deaths in the past. The Whitestone flood in the early 1930s, 13 people were killed. We know that flash flooding in the mountainous areas can be catastrophic. You look at what happened in North Carolina during Helene, a shift of that track 100 miles to the west, and we could have been sitting in that same situation. So again, the eastern part of our county, very susceptible to flash flooding. While the whole county does see it, the eastern section is more vulnerable. And really the entire county has, over the years, seen numerous long track tornadoes. We've had F3 tornadoes. We had an F4 tornado back in 1994 on Palm Sunday here in Pickens. So we have had some very violent weather. We had a very significant high wind event back in June of this year, where people were out of power for 5, 6, 7 days in some parts of our county. So again, the eastern part of the county more vulnerable to that flashy top flooding, and then the rest of the county is pretty much equal.
And even, summer storms have their own threats as well. We saw, 3 or 4 different lightning strikes and houses happen in August?
Yeah, that's right. We had a strong storm really develop right over the county, produced five homes were actually on that day struck by lightning. So even, it doesn't have to be this uh, long forecast severe weather episode to cause you a problem. Even those afternoon and evening thunderstorms can sometimes set up in a way to where we have a lot of different events occur, like those house fires.
Well, Robby, I want to close with this. If you had to summarize very shortly kind of the purpose of your emergency management association within the county and how you want to work with the residents, what would you tell them during this National Preparedness Month?
Well, I would just say this again, your home is your home. We have tools that we can provide to you, we have information that we can provide to you to help you make the best plan we can for your home. Uh, so I encourage everyone within Pickens County to have a plan, have a way to get that warning 24/7. You want it to even wake you up at night. Make sure that once you settle on your plan, that everybody in your family knows the plan. And we would just invite folks to visit our Facebook page for Pickens County, Georgia Emergency Management. And we're going to be putting a lot of information out there this month, a lot of different guides. We started today putting some stuff out, and that's going to continue for the rest of the month. And we would be happy if anybody wants to reach out to us to just help them with any special problem they think they may have in their home. We'll be happy to do it.
Thank you. And how can people sign up for those code red text messages if they want to?
They can actually just go to the Pickens County government webpage, and there is a link there on the front page of the Pickens County Georgia government webpage. A lot of people will say, hey, I searched for Pickens County on there and I get Pickens County, South Carolina as our first thing that pops up. But just if you emphasize Pickens County, Georgia government, you'll go right to the main county page, and there is a link there for Code Red.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Robby Westbrook, the director of the Pickens County Emergency Management here in Georgia. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much.